We've asked celebrated designers Taylor Wen and Andy King to present that dream list.
Every wedding must have spirit and energy that honors how you became who you are today and how you became a couple. 5 top essentials, Syra: the event design and florals, her gown, food, and finally your photographer. Those are the wedding must-haves. The event design will determine how and what the wedding will be about. Is it going to be a romantic garden estate, or is it going to be an urban landscape like a modern hotel wedding? It even determines how the bride should pick out her gown, whether it's sleek and sexy or full and classic. And from there, once the gown is picked, you could go right into the florals, from the bouquet to the centerpieces to the boutonnieres. And then you could look at food. How are you going to welcome your guests? How are you going to feed them? And how are you going to make them feel so special? And finally, your photographer. Your photographer must capture all of these other details that have made your wedding so special. There's something I would really love to recommend, and that's what we call essential extravagances. And that means your completely mind-blowing invitations that get your guests excited to come to your wedding. And of course, to finish up with a melt-in-your-mouth, jaw-dropping cake. With his gowns, brides get noticed coming and going. In every single of his designs, there's always something very special, very sexy about the back. And he's not afraid to use fabrics to skim a woman's body in all the right ways. As soon as guests arrive, they receive comfort in the form of an hors d'oeuvre. And it's magical. It's everything from homegrown mashed potatoes to caramelized onions, nothing that intimidates the crowd, but done in such a sophisticated manner. Brides and grooms are so busy during their wedding. They are entertaining their guests, they're making sure they're arriving at their ceremony on time. At some points, they don't even remember when the bouquet arrived.
Sculptures can be made of many things.
We've seen chocolate dolls, complete statues about 2 feet high that are made completely out of chocolate. We've also seen what we call sugar art, which is basically creating any sort of statue out of sugar. And it's usually such a nice masterpiece. And as the guests are roaming and mingling, they could spend time observing how wonderful the art is. What I recommend is you sit down with your partner and each come up with an individual priority level list. Come up with all the different vendor categories and list what is the most important to the least important. Then compare the list, and then you'll find a compromise. Once you are at your level of how much you want to spend per category, then go out and shop within those categories. A great piece of advice is to always share your opinions with each and every vendor you have, because then they can take care of you and you'll be organized, you'll be stress-free, and you'll be relaxed on your wedding day, and everybody else around you will have a great time because they're seeing you have a great time.
And Taylor says it's all about the little touches.
A huge special idea for couples today is to always take care of a guest from beginning to end. I will tell you again and again, when guests are greeted with valet parking, when they feel that from the very beginning the tone is set and that they're cared for, that is always, always appreciated and it's remembered. Areas that you could kind of pull back on based on your priority level is to think about maybe serving a signature drink instead of an open bar. Finally, cut your guest list. Make sure that all the people that are very special to you, the VIPs of your life, are invited and are treated as VIPs, rather than having a large event where certain people you don't know very well and yet no one feels special. Cut the guest list and you'll see you'll have a much nicer, much more elegant event.